Hey everyone, it's Warren Weekman. Today we're going to go through some of the clinical apps for the iPad. Specifically, we're going to go ahead and look at the pregnancy wheel apps for your iPad. So here we go. There's about 6 apps that are out there that we found and are some of the more highly rated apps. And we're going to go through these one by one and hopefully give you a little bit more information about which one would be the most useful for your clinical practice. Here we go. The first one's going to be the Wheel HD. And this one's going to go into landscape format because it's an iPad native application. So kind of looking at it, you have your traditional wheel in the center, and you have these kind of main areas over here for which you can actually input data. So if you want to say today's date is going to be Saturday, April 7th, perfect. We're going to put in the LMP. We can either press on the word LMP, write down that it's February 4th, for example. And then that'll give you a due date of November 10th on the right hand side. Now each one of these fields here you can actually click on and input the date based on what you know. If you know the due date's going to be December 10th, it'll update the LMP and the wheel accordingly. If you know what the crown rump length is, you can get a rough estimation. If you know the femur length or the BPD, that can get you a little bit of an estimation there. You can also use the wheel by turning the wheel in the middle, and that'll give you changing variables all the way through. Okay, here's some information about this app. This is the company that puts it together, and this is an iPad native app. Let's go ahead and look at Pregnancy Wheel, and this one is actually just a pure digital replica of your traditional wheel. And press on the outer ring, you can move it around. And just like a traditional wheel, you want to match up the date of the LMP over here to the little arrow on the bottom right hand side, and from there you can estimate that November 10th is going to be your due date. Not much more information beyond that, and some of the same difficulties as far as getting the right hash mark for the right date are apparent in this digital version of the analog wheel. The company information is here. On to the next app. Alright, so this one's called Perfect Wheel, and when you get into this app you see there's no wheel actually, and then it's a smaller format because it's actually an iPhone native app, and it doesn't translate as well over to the iPad. To enlarge the screen, just press 2x on the bottom, and now it's more compatible with the iPad, though you do have to lose a little bit of the resolution. From here, just if you pick LMP, conception, due date, or number of weeks, you just go ahead and press LMP, wheel down to the appropriate date, and from there hit next, and that'll give you all the information based on the information that you input right there. And as of today, gestational age, etc., estimated due dates, so on and so forth. You can put in today's date, and then that'll give you all the other information right there. The one thing that's a little bit tricky with this app is if you go ahead and hit tracker in the upper left, it brings you to an advertisement for their other app. The only way to get out of it is by scrolling down to the bottom and hitting cancel. Alright, so next app here is going to be this Pregnancy Wheel app. Again, very simplistic in what it does, but it does the job. You can either choose LMP or slide over to due date. If you choose LMP, it says you're at 8 and 6 today, due date November 11th. If you change over to due date, it'll tell you that as of today, based on this information, 48 weeks, 6 days, LMP, May 1st. If you hit see more results, let's go back to LMP for a second here. If you hit see more results, it gives you more detailed information about conception, first, second trimester, etc. Alrighty, we now have the Pregnancy Wheel app here. This one's a little bit tougher because there is no easy interface for easy input. If you want to input any data in, you have to actually slide the wheel accordingly and line it up with the hashtags, much like the traditional wheel. The downside is this normally runs at 1 times screen size because it's supposed to be an iPhone app, and then that just makes it harder to get to the actual date. And that's this app right there. And finally, many of you have already a medical calculator on your device, and if you look closely at some of these calculators, they actually have a pregnancy wheel included. This is one for the MedCalc app. This is an iPhone app. This is the iPhone version, but there is an iPad version that is available, which is in a much nicer format. But if you simply go to categories and obstetrics, you usually find a pregnancy wheel within there, and just type in LMP, wheel down to the appropriate date, and then it updates all the other information there. If you hit info, it'll just give you information about the calculator. Now this one does not have any of the other information, such as for second trimester. It pretty much gives you LMP conception and estimated delivery date. And that's it. That will be our quick overview of the pregnancy wheel apps for the iPad. Thanks for your time.